can then elicit this narrative of, well, there are a couple narratives being used, and kind of used rather brilliantly, and I think it cuts across various media outlets. This notion of the violent black man, right?
Right.
Which then can be used to justify suppression and oppression, right? So that's one narrative, this narrative around race, that I think focusing on the so-called property damage, et cetera, is actually a proxy for that narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also think the other part that's going on, and you alluded to that, is, if we only focus on this small element, we can ignore the profound inequalities in places like Baltimore. So, for example, we can ignore the high infant mortality rate experienced primarily by black women in Baltimore, the high HIV/AIDS rate experienced by black women in Baltimore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because those traditionally are outward-focusing issues. So we like to look at the so-called third world around those issues. But to be able to look at that in the U.S. is problematic.
Right, and then which is why when organizations like Amnesty International and or Greenpeace look inward into the United States, and particularly individual communities within the United States, like Detroit, like Baltimore, which
Mm-hmm.
are such abject failures,
Mm-hmm.
they point out statistics that are alarming, which are ultimately dismissed by individual portions of the media based on their own not so hidden biases, are they?
No, they're not hidden biases at all, right? Because to point those out challenges this notion of the great America, where all of us are equal and we can all succeed.
That seems to be the big lie right now. Where I find great irony is because economics bias. You probably heard my run up into the intro, and forgive me for that long spiel. But one of the things that we fight here is what we call crony corporatism. Crony corporatism, when it runs out of inner city lives to exhaust and prey on, ultimately starts to turn on some of the same people that supported its existence. So the irony, or not so subtle irony, is that that's starting to affect middle class whites in a way that's not dissimilar on a much smaller scale, but it's starting to creep into other portions of the larger community here in the United States, where all of a sudden, quote unquote, middle class whites are seeing degradation in the quality of their schools, infrastructure, communities, all at the expense of these vested interests. And all of a sudden are angered by it, but at the same time confused by their anger, because a clear analysis of some of that anger might lead them to then all of a sudden realize that they're validating the 200-plus year history of the African American community.
Yes. And I think that's where Martin Luther King Jr. was going before his untimely death. When he was talking about the Poor Man March, et cetera, he says, you know what? These are some common issues across the board. They're not just black-only issues. And that's kind of why I also like the analogy of the canary in the mine, right?
Right.
Because the canary is the one that dies first. But if we're not paying attention to the canary, eventually we'll all die.
Right. For the very same reasons. So as Americans at large, regardless of racial, religious, sexual issues, are ultimately taken out one by one by some of these same issues, at that point it's almost too late.
It's almost too late. That's what I think. Not to sound like doom and destruction, but that's what I think. I think if we're not careful, this is what's going to happen.
Because there's a large segment of the community that's ultimately bought. I'm a believer in the American dream, and I still believe in American excellence. But one of the fallacies here is that there is a group of people in this country, not to sound, I'm not your typical tinfoil hat wearing type of person, but there is a constituency in this country which, by convincing those that are oppressed by their cronyism that if they simply go along, they will have an opportunity to participate in this mad theory of trickle down, have been able to co-opt yet a whole nother community. And of course, like I said, I point out to the white, middle and lower class economic groups, which are as I say, they are the ones being turned on now. Folks seem to have redlined and crushed the black community to a degree. Okay, what's left? What else can we suck dry for our own personal benefit? It's very disheartening, and unfortunately, in Rhode Island, I'm not sure how long you've lived here in the state. We're seeing it firsthand. It's just depressing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think the so-called economic downturn and recession has really shown us that, especially in Rhode Island.
Right.
Well, where it's cut across all of these groups in very harmful ways. But like you said, there's a desire to hold on to this notion of greatness. And but when you think about it, if that's let go of, what else is left?
Exactly. Then we all turn to face the ugly reality.
Right.
Well, I've run very, very long here, but I am supremely grateful, Professor Dr. Julia Jordan Zachary of Providence College, that you've chosen to join us for such an expended time here on our inaugural voyage on WPRO 630 AM. I hope you'll be back again. I know we knocked around some ideas for some forums in the future. Again, thank you for joining us on the Coalition.
My pleasure. Anytime.
Talk to you soon, I hope.
All right. Be well. Bye-bye. And
we're going to take a long-expected break here to cover some commercials. You are listening to the maiden voyage of the Coalition on Talk Radio, AM 630, WPRO, Rhode Island Station of Record, Rhode Island's Town Hall. You can find us on Facebook.com/The Coalition Radio, on the mighty Twitter at Coalition_Radio. You're listening to Anti-Flag. Yes, it's fitting today. It's fitting this week. It's poignant. You might be able to kill the protester, but you cannot kill the protest. We'll be right back with Dave Fisher live on the streets of Providence. Stay tuned.
News Talk 630 and 99.7 FM, WPRO, along with WPRI 12, Eyewitness News presents Newsmakers and Executive Suite. Join us Sunday nights at 6 as Tim White hosts in-depth interviews with Southern New England's top politicians and other newsmakers. Then at 6:30, join host Ted Nesi as he showcases emerging businesses, interviews business leaders and owners, and highlights local business trends. Newsmakers at 6 and Executive Suite at 6:30. Sunday nights on News Talk 630 at 99.7 FM, WPRO. From the Seascape Lawn Care Weather Center, here's your exclusive AccuWeather forecast.
Mostly clear for tonight, down to 42, a little bit cool. Then for tomorrow, sunshine and some clouds up to 69. Clear tomorrow night, low 47. Then nice and warm Monday with sunshine, the high 76. With WPRO's exclusive AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist John Feerick.
AccuWeather on the voice of Southern New England. News Talk 630 and 99.7 FM, WPRO.
Seekonk Speedway's opening day kickoff classic is Sunday, May 3rd. 4 divisions of action-packed racing. Go to SeekonkSpeedway.com for details. Seekonk Speedway, your NASCAR home track.
Imagine strolling through acres of beautiful garden shrubs, spectacular flowers, trees, and plants of every kind. This is just what you'll experience when you visit Forest Hills Nursery. If you're looking for a new landscape design, a Forest Hills professional will walk with you and help you design your yard and pick out exactly what you need to make this new makeover perfect. Forest Hills Nursery is open daily at 400 Aqueduct Road, behind McDonald's on Reservoir Avenue in Cranston.
Hey, Bob, how's business? Is the new website helping?
Not good. I can't figure out how to get the website finished. How did you do it?
Easy. I called Web.com. They built my website for free. Then they promoted it on all the search engines.
Like Google, Yahoo, and Bing?
Exactly. And Web.com has helped grow my business so much, I had to bring on new staff.
Hey, if Web.com did it for you, they're perfect for me.
Call now, 1-800-535-8815. That's 1-800-535-8815. Again, 1-800-535-8815.
Oh, yes, I'm the great pretender.
Oil companies pretending to be propane companies. Why would you chance buying propane from a pretender? Call Propane Plus for your propane. Trust the decades of experience of Propane Plus for all your propane needs. Safety, comfort, and convenience. Call Propane Plus today. 508-252-3359 or propaneplus.com.
The New England Cannabis Convention is coming to Providence May 16th and 17th. The cannabis industry will outpace the global smartphone market next year. So come and get expert advice from over 50 vendors, including doctors, growers, suppliers, dispensaries, and caregivers. 2 full days of panels and workshops, and the best smoking, vaping, and growing accessories available. Saturday and Sunday, May 16th and 17th at the Rhode Island Convention Center in Providence. Tickets are just $25 and can be purchased online at Canaticket.com. CANNA ticket.com.
If you know the part number for your oil filter is R-85348, but can only recall that your wedding anniversary is sometime in June, then CarQuest Auto Parts is for you. That's because CarQuest Auto Parts is for guys who really know and care about their car. And right now at CarQuest, get 5 quarts of Pennzoil High Mileage Motor Oil and a CarQuest Standard Series filter for $23.99. CarQuest is serious auto parts.
See participating stores for details.
Beacon Shipping Logistics will ship any car, any vehicle, anywhere in the United States with door-to-door service. Just call 855-3-SHIP-IT. They ship vehicles for thousands of auto dealers throughout the country, so you know you can trust them to provide the most reliable auto transport in the industry. And they offer open or enclosed shipping for your precious cargo. Did you see a car online and can't get there? Let Beacon Shipping ship and deliver it right to your door. Need to get your boat from West Palm to Warwick Neck? Beacon can do it. Call Beacon Shipping Logistics for transporting one car to an entire fleet. Call 855-3-SHIP-IT or beaconshippinglogistics.com for service that shines. Let Beacon Shipping Logistics take the stress out of your life. Beacon Shipping Logistics provides the most honest auto transport service in the industry. Beacon Shipping Logistics, your one source for transporting one car or a whole fleet. Call 855-374-4748 for a free quote or beaconshippinglogistics.com.
From Pasco to Point Judith and Manville to Matunic, you're listening to Southern New England's most informative talk lineup. Plus, news, traffic, and weather. Never miss it. On News Talk 630 and 99.7 FM. It's my station. WPRO. Now, back to the Coalition with Pat Ford and Dave Fisher on News Talk 630 and 99.7 FM. WPRO.
And you are listening to the Coalition live for the very first time on WPRO AM 630, Rhode Island's Town Hall, your station of record. We can be found on Facebook.com/The Coalition Radio, on the Mighty Mighty Twitter at Coalition_radio. Go to our website, coalitionradio.us. You will find, amongst other things, some recorded bits from today's protest in Providence, supporting Black Lives Matter and pointing out situations in Baltimore. Our co-host, good friend, longtime member of the Coalition, Dave Fisher, is on the line with us. Dave, how's it going?
It's going fantastic. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, this is great stuff. Dave is out on the streets of Providence right now. This is the type of radio show going forward where it might be a reggae bar in Providence, it might be the streets of Providence, it might be the streets of Woonsocket. You may find us down in Westerly one day. This is virtual radio, live on AM at its best. Whether it be a protest or creating the protest or inciting the riot, we're going to be there. No more hiding behind a TV truck or hiding behind one's preconceptions as a media member. It's all about being live, being in your face, as Dave likes to say, smash mouth. And it was Dave who came up with the concept of civilly disobedient radio. Dave, we went very long in the last segment, but we had Professor Julia Jordan-Zachary from PC on, illuminating stuff. I think it was a good conversation, and it will be up on the podcast. So give us a reflection on this afternoon's activity. How was today's class trip?
Well, I would have to classify today's march and the subsequent rally as nothing but a 100% success. The crowd at the rally swelled to, by my estimates, a little over 400 people marching through the streets of Providence, shutting down traffic, shutting down intersections. It was very peaceful. The crowd seemed to kind of gather more people as it went along. So I think people, as they saw it, said, you know what, I'm going to walk for a couple of miles with these folks. The other, I guess the most interesting part to me was the presence of about 60, count them, 60 Providence police officers. That's not including the state troopers that I saw. Saw at least 5 or 6 state trooper SUVs and cruisers right around the streets of Providence. And at this point, if I'm not mistaken, they're still hanging out outside of this rally, which it escapes me why they would still be here, because there's no longer anybody marching in the streets. There's no, it's basically just a party happening outside, and I don't think that the level of police that are here need to be here, if at all.